Continuing with Charles Cooley, we look at the development of self. Now, this self is a process. It takes different steps. It develops through different stages. So, for Cooley, an individual grows up. The history of people, the individuals, is evolutionary kind of history. Thereby, they grow physically as well as socially. So from, let's say, a small child, they grow into a grown-up kind of human being. And by the same token, we also see that he, from a physical being, he is also moving towards a social being. So that's a kind of process. In this process, socialization is one of the important factors. Now, that socialization helps. Now, socialization, as you know, is simply a learning process whereby an individual learns how to play different roles as participating member of the society. So, for that purpose, in the socialization process, interaction is very important. And when we say interaction, this interaction takes place in the company of others. Others could be the seniors, others could be contemporary, others could be the juniors as well. But since we move from child up, then we see that this child interacts with, let us say, not only its contemporaries, but also the grown-ups. So for that interaction, you also know that communication is very important. Now, communication actually is an outcome of the reading of, let's say, gestures of individuals with each other. So they, during this process of socialization, they learn how to play different roles. Now, these roles are played, let's say, in most of the cases in the company of others. Now, these others try to reflect, present a sort of image of the playing of role of an individual. So what we think of ourselves depends on what we think others think of us. So that means when this individual plays a role, or we play the role in the presence of others, we have some kind of perception, our perception of how we appear to others, how we look to others. When I say appear to others or look to others, it means how do we play the role, and our perception, how the others consider that role, whether this is appropriate according to the expectations or it needs changes. Now, so we have a perception of how we look to others. At the same time, we also have a perception about their judgment about the performance of the role. So our perception, how do we look to others, and then others' perception with respect to how do we appear to them. So that's looking into their judgment, reading their judgment, and they try to provide their judgment in the form of comments, in the form of appreciation, in the form of modifications in the playing of the roles. And on the basis of these two perceptions, this individual try to develop some kind of a picture of oneself. Now that's more like a self-image, the image of an individual as we see in the mirror. Similarly, the society, the others project the appearance of this individual, and on the basis of that, we try to make our estimation of what we are and that is how the self emerges.